Hi, this is Scott.
And this is Brittany.
And this is the PiCast, a weekly podcast about the stuff we like to do.
Like going to Disneyland, conventions, travel, and our growing family.
Find us on social media at PiDayFamily.
You can also email us, pidayfamily@gmail.com, or you can leave us a voicemail at 626-66-PIDAY.
That's 626-667-4329. We really love to get voicemails that we can add into the show. We hope to hear from you soon.
Now let's get on with the show.
So last week we were talking about how I've been calling into some of the podcasts that I listen to, right? It's Eric Nagel and Geek Stuff, and that this guy started, I call him the anonymous heckler. He's just kind of talking smack about me for no reason.
Yeah.
And like he's never given a name, he's never left like a Twitter handle or anything. And then I mentioned that there's a Twitter account that had been like inactive since 2017 that suddenly started tweeting at It's Eric Nagel and me, so I'm assuming it's the same person, but I don't know. Anyway, I took some time today to pull all of the calls because we got a voicemail from him this week.
Yes.
So
have you listened to it?
I haven't listened to it yet.
Yeah, me neither. I tried to read the transcript, but then it was really long, so I was like, we'll just save it for the podcast.
Yeah. So.
And I don't know that I've even heard all the voicemails from the other podcasts because I don't listen to those other podcasts as much as you get to.
Right. Okay, so we're gonna start with the voicemail that started it all. I was listening to It's Eric Nagel, and again, almost every podcast that you listen to, they say, "Oh yeah, here's our voicemail, call in." And most podcasts don't get that many phone calls, and I've been listening to it for a while, and I just really was enjoying this episode, whatever the topic was. Like, it's one of those where you just feel like you're part of the conversation, or you at least really want to talk back because it's just so right in your wheelhouse. And so I was kind of tweeting back and forth, hey, I was listening to the episode, I really like it, and then I just decided to call. So here's the voicemail that I left. One sec.
You want to go to one of the calls?
Yeah, let's go to a call. I want to hear what they said.
Okay, I think this is our new pal Scott. Out on the West Coast there.
Scott?
Yeah, hang on. Let me
on the West Coast.
See if this goes.
Hey, it's Eric Nagel crew. It's Pi Day Scott from Twitter. I am here in Southern California just listening to your latest episode, having a little love fest with you guys on Twitter. I wanted to say thanks for everything that you do. It really is fun to have a podcast that you can listen to, feel like you're part of the conversation. I talk back to my phone all the time, so I thought I would talk to you for real by calling into the voicemail. I know nobody calls into voicemails to podcasts because, hey, we're all busy doing other things while we listen to the podcast. But, you guys are important enough to me to say thank you very much with a phone call. So keep up the good work and keep listening and try to get Trevor to eat better. The stuff that he eats is horrific. Bye.
Damn it, I thought we were going to go through one whole phone call without someone making fun of me or bashing my food choices.
Your food choices are bad, Trevor. Your food choices are bad, and you should feel bad.
After you just showed us your food choices, and now we're just like, let's go to the call where it says his food choices are bad.
Trevor's dinner looks like the old Fish Heads music video where they're just in a bucket. That's what Trevor's dinner looks like.
That was a really nice call, though. That made me happy. Did nice. Trevor just drop his food?
He did. Thank God. Thank you very much, Pi Scott. I think he's a friend with Geek Stuff too. I think he's West Coast Scott on that show.
Nice.
But
over my pants now.
Pi Scott has a podcast called the Pi. I think it's the Pi Day podcast or the Pi podcast. Damn it! I apologize, Scott.
A PiCast?
I wanted to give you a PiCast, maybe. That's what it is. Look it up. If you look up PI, because they got married on Pi Day.
Aww.
So it's called the PiCast. Check that out.
Hold on, I'm looking it up. The PiCast?
The Pied Piper Cast. P-I apostrophe D. For street cred.
So, I mean, and I don't think there was anything weird about that call. Eric went
I think it was really nice.
Yeah, and Eric went above and beyond with like mentioning the podcast and everything, which I thought was cool. I'm like, hey, because I'm sure they have a ton of listeners, and so I thought it was really kind of cool. And so then, like the next week, they don't necessarily do voicemails every single week because again, probably they don't get that many. They kind of save them up, and they usually do a voicemail segment. But a couple weeks later, go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think that your voicemail was nice. Like, I don't feel like it was like creepy or territorial or like anything. Like, I just felt like you were like, I really enjoy it. Keep up the great work. I'm gonna keep listening. and thanks for putting it out. Like, I mean, that's probably nice to hear.
Right. I mean, that's what I was thinking. And okay, so here's what happened. Let me see if I can just drag this in if it just goes. No, it doesn't. Okay.
I mean, nobody's called and told us that we're doing a great job and that we should keep going. So
Didn't Hannah do that once?
I don't know, probably.
All right, hang on.
This one doesn't have a name on it. Let's see what he.
Hey, it's Eric Nagel crew. Hi, Tia. How you doing?
He's immediately creepy.
Podcast and heard that baking guy, that Baker Scott guy, that called. Fuck that guy. Just be careful.
Oh my gosh.
He's got some fucking body parts in his closet for sure. He's too nice. It's all an act. Be careful. Look out.
I think he was talking about Pi Day Scott, who called in a couple of weeks ago. New friend for so he's saying the guy's too nice. Stay away from him. He's probably killed people. That could be true. He is very laid back.
Thanks, Eric.
It is probably true.
I've been having a hard time killing
not
people
true.
since I've been meaner to them.
Absolutely.
It's like
It's so much harder to get them back to your place. You're like, get back to my house, you asshole. They're like, I just.
then you
met
got to
you.
worry about their
Ugh.
feelings.
That should be nice to him.
So yeah, I mean, but again,
It's very aggressive from the get-go.
right out the gate, and again, he didn't leave a name. You don't know anything about it, but I'm listening to it, and I thought it was funny when like even Eric's like, oh, I don't know, maybe he's killed somebody. I don't know. I mean, but so I was laughing at this point.
I mean, I don't
thought
really
this was
think
funny.
it's funny that people are accusing my husband of having body parts in the closet because, for one, I share that closet, and second of all, I mean, I think you're a really nice guy.
You've got your shoe cubbies. I've got my stuff in the closet. No, there's no body parts in there. I promise.
I mean, yeah. First of all, and second of all, like, our closet is pretty clean. Like, I clean it up pretty regularly, so I think I would know.
Yeah. Well, so then I called back to leave my response, but my main thing was he's still all the way through. He's like the baker guy. I'm like, it's not pie like a pie you eat. It's pie like the number pie.
Even Gia said that, or no, Eric
Zia.
said that. What's her name?
Zia.
Oh, Zia. Well, Eric said, "Oh, it's PI because they got married on Pi Day," and she was like, "Oh, that's sweet." Like,
Yeah. And
they like made a point to point that out.
Right. And so I don't know. So that's the thing. Okay. So the next voicemail. This is me. My rebuttal on calling back to It's Eric Nagel.
Let us go to it's our new friend Pi Day Scott. Let's go and talk to him.
Hey guys, it's West Coast Scott at Pi Day Scott on Twitter. I just wanted to call about this guy a couple weeks ago. He was calling me that baker guy. It's not pie like P-I-E. It's P-I like the number pi because I got married on Pi Day. So if you're going to start insulting somebody, saying that they're like have body parts in their house or something, really get it straight. I think this guy was trying to start a radio war, but he didn't even leave a name. So I can't even like come back at him because I don't even know who he is. So I don't know. Anyway. I love the show. I just wanted to call and say that I like you guys. I'm glad that Zia made it to the East Coast safe and everything. But, I feel like there's a radio war brewing, so the guy didn't even leave a name. So, let's see what happens. Keep up the good work, guys. We will catch you next time.
I have a question for all of you right now. What does Pi Day go?
March 14th.
March 14th.
God.
Just yelled 3 for a second.
She had food in her mouth.
I was going to say 3/14, and then I was like, wait, March.
That's awesome. We have a smart caller that has
Holy shit, guys! I just realized it.
what?
COVID hit around March 15th or so, right?
Yeah.
So it's Scott's fault?
Yeah, but pi is a number that doesn't end. That's why this year won't end. It's 3.14, but it never gets to 15.
I don't like that.
Oh,
We are stuck in a pie.
I Scott, you
And
son
not
of a
the
bitch.
good kind.
Oh,
Oh, we're
Not the
stuck
kind
in a
that
pie,
you
guys.
eat your way out of.
It's not the one with 4 and 20 blackbirds.
I mean, technically,
This
COVID was
is terrible.
There's
December
actually a bakery in
2019.
Brooklyn
Yeah.
called
But-
420 Blackbirds, and on Pie Day they sell pies really cheap.
That is an awesome concept.
They're really good pies.
That sounds amazing. Good for them.
well, thank you for the call.
Thank you, Scott. And then maybe one day you will also have the means to escape from California and move to a normal part of the country. But we do like Scott. Thank you very much.
Wait,
It's normal out there. This is a big state. It's like half the country.
It's all on
I was gonna
fire
say,
and
that's
it's
if
falling
he wants
apart.
to leave. Some
Yeah.
people still like it there.
I don't know. His name is Pi Scott, so I don't know.
Yeah. Zia had just moved from California to New Jersey. Or I don't know exactly where she moved to, but
where?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where they are. I mean, I'm assuming they're in New York, New Jersey area.
yeah. I mean, yeah, they're all in New York.
Okay.
Except Zio was in California until about this time, which was like right before Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay. Oh, so this is all the way from back then.
Yeah, I mean, this has been going on. This was, I think, my first voicemail was I think in mid-October, and then so it started in October.
Oh, I didn't realize it's been going on that long.
Yeah,
I thought it was just all in like the last couple of weeks. Like
Yeah,
the last month.
No, it's been going on since October, and like that was the funny thing is like, the first I call in just trying to be nice, and then this guy said, "Oh, he's crazy," and then some like Trevor or Giddle said, "Oh yeah, I think maybe he's right." And then the next one, they're like, "Oh, Scott caused COVID," which
Right.
so on Twitter it was that's when the Twitter account that listens to this says, "Oh yeah, Scott caused Twitter," and then so the Twitter account starts asking questions to me, and I think the Twitter account is like called Cardiff Electric because it was a Halt and Catch Fire fan account that now is tweeting me. But like he asks things like, "Oh, is Scott trying to take over the world? What's Scott's plans this week?" So like, if there's ever not a voicemail, well, if there is a voicemail, the Cardiff Electric account comments on a voicemail. If there's no voicemail, then it comments like, "Oh, there wasn't a voicemail this week. I wonder what Scott's up to."
How funny.
So like I said, I'm sure that it's the same person. So anyway, that was me calling back, and then the next week, this is now Thanksgiving week, and so I had called in something separate. We were talking about the bad music, and we'd mentioned "Call Me Maybe," and I'd remembered something about "Call Me Maybe" and when E-Rock was on XM Satellite Radio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so that's so I call and leave a message having nothing to do, just kind of forgetting about the anonymous heckler, and so here's my next call, or this is like the Thanksgiving episode.
All right. We got more calls to go to here. So remember, because we got a call from our pal PiDay Scott, right? Remember somebody called up warning us about Scott, saying like he was like a psychopath or something?
No, when did that happen?
Last week.
I don't remember any of that.
Last week, a guy called in and was shit talking PiDay Scott, saying that the guy is insane and don't trust him and all of that. So Scott had called back, I think it was last week too, and had said and responded to it, and now that other guy called back to shit on Scott again.
Okay,
we're just sitting here watching all this happen.
All right.
Here it is.
Hey, Eric, how you doing? Hi, Zia. Hello to the other two.
Yeah.
I'm just calling in response to that baker pie guy, whatever his name is, trying to start some shit with me.
I'm trying to start shit with him.
I was just calling my friends here to warn them that you're a psychopath, and just to stay away from you. And you're calling in trying to start something. So listen, Mr. Pie Guy, go bake a fucking cake. You want to know my name? I asked. That's my name. Bye, Dia. Oh, Eric, call me back about that thing we were talking about, where I was going to replace Trevor on the show. Thanks. Bye.
We were talking about that, but it wasn't with you, sir. I don't know what happened.
You told the pie guy to bake a cake, so I'm very confused. There's so many pastries.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Giddles is actually like a chef too,
call.
so it's like his food stuff.
Pie caking.
Now
Eric's Zia, the other two.
Here's another call. Oh, here's another call from PiDay Scott. Now he calls himself West Coast Scott, but the thing is that he calls into another show all the time. Our pals over at Geek Stuff, and he's West Coast Scott on there. So I don't want to deal with Kevin saying, "Oh, you're stealing our callers," or your friend.
Nobody wants to deal with Kevin.
We are Kevin.
Yeah, he's PiDay Scott on this show. So
Kevin
I'm actively poaching people. Like I'm like, yo, you like geek stuff, and I'm like, nope, don't listen to that. And then I punch them in the face, and they're like, oh, you're right. I should listen to this show instead. Like,
right.
That's quite a poaching way.
Let's go to PiDay Scott.
Hey, good afternoon. It's Eric Nagel Crew. It is West Coast Scott again at PiDay Scott on Twitter. We are getting ready for our Thanksgiving and listening to some music, and the subject of really bad songs that really made it big came up. And my wife, Brittany, who I do a podcast with called the PiCast, mentioned the song Call Me Maybe. And I said, wait a minute, didn't E-Rock have something to do with making that famous? So again, if I'm wrong, don't air this, but I'm pretty sure you are personally responsible for Call Me Maybe being a big hit. If you could tell that story, I'd love to hear it again. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. I look forward to the show, and take care.
Okay.
Well, we know it's a true story because Eric played the call. So please tell us the story.
Yeah. Can I just real quick? What Giddles just said, we don't screen our calls, do we? Clearly not.
Why should we? Why should
looks
we?
So confused.
No. Why would you screen the calls? So the
right,
Call
well,
Me
you're right. Go
Maybe
ahead, tell the story
thing.
then.
The Call Me Maybe thing was not from me, but from the O&A show. If I'm remembering this right, Sam on the show also did a shift on Hits 1. He was like 3 to 6 in the morning, and Hits 1 would tend to get music before it became popular or got out to the rest of the country. So they would play stuff in advance. They had these features where they were playing new artists, whatever. And I think Sam, because nobody was paying attention to what Sam was doing from 3 to 6 in the morning, as he should, started playing that song like over and over and over before it was huge, before everybody else caught on to it. So he just knew the song was super catchy. And he just started playing it to annoy people, and then would play it on. I think we had the after show at that time. He was playing it there too, and people were calling in just screaming and complaining about this song because they didn't know what it was. But Sam kept playing it over and over, and because of that, when it hit. I think it's in Wikipedia, or maybe not now, but at the time and everything, it was saying it became famous as an ongoing gag from the Opie and Anthony show. So a lot of people were crediting us for people getting so mad at that song, but that it became popular because we wouldn't stop playing it.
Crediting or blaming? Dude.
True.
Yeah. So again, I was wrong because it wasn't E-Rock. It was Sam Roberts, another person from Sirius XM. But yeah. So the guy had called back, and I didn't even know he called back. So so then it's super weird that he calls talking shit about me, and then there's a voicemail from me like immediately following.
Right, but that you weren't even acknowledging him. You were just trying to talk, or you were just trying to hear a funny story that you were unsure about.
Right. All right. So then now this is where it starts to get weird. Not that it's not already weird.
Yeah.
But on. Oh,
is
yeah,
this the one where he says my name?
No, that's you got like 5 more calls before that. By the way, all this time
I was gonna call into the Eric Nagel show.
Yeah.
Whatever, and I was gonna be like, "Excuse me, sir, get my name out your mouth."
Yeah. Well, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, that's coming up. But
if he's listening to this, because clearly,
I would assume that he is.
Sir, don't say my name ever, please.
This is really weird for me also because I'm listening to all these on regular speed while we're recording.
So they're all slow.
Yeah, normally I listen to all podcasts on double speed, so everybody sounds like they're drunk.
Same.
To me. Anyway, so here's the next call. This one's from, let's see. Yeah, this is him calling back again.
This is remember the creepy guy that was calling?
I like how that's how he brings it up every time.
From the dog park, or the guy who's
weeks and months later.
Pi-Day Scott?
How about
this is after Thanksgiving.
Scott.
All right. The creepy guy that was calling that would always tell us to stay away from Scott, but he was like flirting with Zia all the time in the phone call. Yeah, so he called back right here.
Hey, Eric. Hi, Zia. Snap, crackle.
He called the other guy Snap and Crackle.
Yeah.
No giddles.
You know, last week.
So rude.
I woke up. I put on my podcast hat.
He called you Snap and Crackle.
I listened to your show, and you didn't play my call. It's fine.
Thank you.
We didn't play any calls.
Your show for now. So
for now,
do what you want. But really, you got to know that this comes from a place of love, and your safety.
What?
I mean, I really think you're going down a rabbit hole with this Baker guy that could get you in a lot of trouble, and I really want to stop that from happening. Please, just be careful. I see you all over Twitter, promoting this guy and interacting with this guy. It's dangerous. Okay.
Wait, why?
The pie guy, Baker guy, whatever he wants to be, he's the real virus. So just be careful.
You're a virus?
That's what he said.
And whatever you
the
do,
virus was also the name of their
give him
channel on Sirius XM.
Please.
Oh.
How you doing, Dia?
Hi.
I love when
I'm
Eric just goes, "Ugh."
No, time out. I'm switching my allegiance to this guy because as much as Pi Day Scott, I thought okay, cool, he's just rebelling back. This guy will stab us. So hey, team this other guy. What's his name?
We don't know. He's just some creepy guy that calls.
He doesn't leave a name or
No.
Oh.
We don't know who it is.
Oh,
but
cool. Team that guy.
So I'll
give you a Snickers.
But I heard from our new pal Pi Day Scott, and he wrote me. He goes, what the fuck's with this guy? What did I do? I said, I don't know. People are just weird. So Scott had to call back and rebut that.
Hey guys, it's Pi Day Scott. Am I the one sounding crazy for even giving this guy the time of day? He's anonymous. He just calls in. He's saying that I'm a psycho. I feel like I'm starting to sound like a psycho just because I keep responding to him. So I don't know.
Yes.
Anyway, I love the show. The last episode, E-Rock, you said you used to eat hot dogs just raw out of the package. That is a little weird. So, you're kind of maybe going into that realm of eating things that are gross. And also the McRib also gets a thumbs down for me. I wouldn't even bother trying it. So anyway, I don't know. I think that I should just stop responding to this guy and ignore him. But, you tell me. If you guys want me to keep starting this radio war with my anonymous heckler, I'm game. It could lead to fisticuffs like you said, Eric, but I don't know.
No.
Until next time, we'll check out the next episode and keep doing what you're doing. I really appreciate it. I love the show. This is Pi Day Scott. Take care, guys.
No, Scott, there's no need to engage with this guy because I don't get what this bit is. This guy just showed up out of nowhere.
I'm hoping right now that Pi Day Scott is the Split movie situation.
Oh,
and
this
all
is
these
one of his
callers are in
personalities?
head. And he is just calling back every time with arguments with different people in his head.
I thought that. I honestly thought Pi Day Scott and this guy were the same person. And
Pi Day Scott, Cake Day Ray, we got them all here.
Dude, I got a little concerned at one point. I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was the exact same thing. First of all, Radio Wars died in 2010.
Let's bring it back.
The radio wars are people on the radio versus other people on the radio, not the callers.
You know who won the radio wars? Podcasts won the radio wars.
That is true.
Radio wars don't exist anymore. They haven't existed in 10 years. So it's. But at the same
So, yeah, there's this whole potential brouhaha happening.
I'm switching my allegiance from Pi Day Scott to the other guy.
Okay.
Why? Because I was going to stab you.
I honestly think yes. I'm just going to give him a Snickers. I'm going to give him a hug.
I'm going to give him your address and then have him go visit you. He'll show up to your place like you show up at Zia's random
He's
place.
at my address all the time. People are just sending me bombs and cats and shit, and it's crazy.
You get
yeah, cat bomb is the worst. I got a whole pack of this thing called Exploding Kittens. I didn't even open it.
That sounds so sad.
Yeah.
You're just thinking of Exploding Kittens out. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Final call for the day. The weirdo called back.
So he called twice in the same episode.
Hey, Eric. Hey, Zia. Hey, Bert, honey.
Hey,
yeah,
you're saying I think of my eyebrows.
I'm calling about your baker friend, the pie guy. This is getting out of hand. It really is. Eric, you refer to him as your friend, and that's you're really feeding into it. You're letting this succubus psychopath in deeper and deeper and deeper into the Nagel world. I mean, now he's calling in and plugging his podcast. He's plugging his Twitter. He's plugging his wife's Twitter. You got to separate yourself from this guy. It's getting dangerous. Ask him why he was banned from Disneyland. Ask him.
What?
Be safe, guys. And Zia, be safe.
I honestly don't care.
Look out for the pie guy.
He was banned because he lives in his head. That's why he's banned.
I honestly don't care about the fact that he wants to have sexual relations with Zia. It is clear that Pi Day Scott is dangerous.
Wait, does he hit people with pies? Is that his gag? He runs up and he's just like, Pi Day Scott, and you've been tagged.
That would be hilarious.
Card in your pocket.
I would buy his T-shirt if he had one.
Right?
That's what
I
it
was
was
pied by Pi Day Scott, and all I got was this lousy pie in my face. Oh yeah, and I'm also allergic.
Makes the news.
Can you
They're
make
trying
that
to figure
shirt?
out who this masked bandit is. Just runs around hitting pies into people's faces and taking off.
And sell that shirt.
Yeah.
I was pied by Pi Day Scott.
Well, this is a weird whole scenario going on with. I didn't find Pi Day Scott to be threatening at all. Every time I've met the dude, well, I think I met him twice. It was very nice. I don't know what this other guy's problem is with him. But maybe it is. Maybe Brian's right. Maybe Gil's right. It's all in his head. He's just his different personalities are calling, and they're fighting with each other.
What if it is? Oh my God! What if it's that?
Did that just hit you now? Did that just?
Yeah, it's a split situation. Yeah.
10 minutes ago, you said that.
It is a multiple personality thing here.
So much stuff happened on Twitter, like at this point, because I was laughing so hard when they were saying that it was a multiple personality. Yeah. And I totally thought that was funny. The tweets have, GIFs from the movie Split and all that kind of stuff. So I left a message for it's Eric Nagel. After that, I called and going, oh my God, now I'm really worried. It's like in A Beautiful Mind, where he didn't realize that he was schizophrenic, right? Yeah. It all seemed so real to him. And so, I left that one, but then I think, like Eric said, it's like there's no point in engaging. I don't get the bit. And he didn't air that one. Uh-huh. And so a couple of weeks went by before the guy called back.
So, this guy is like, I don't know, it feels almost concerning, like how much he doesn't like you and like how he's calling you like a psychopath, and I don't know. I don't like that. You're my husband and I love you very much, and I think you're a very nice guy.
I think I'm I try to be a nice guy. Try to be a nice person. So when Eric, like when I did the call back where I was just kind of playing into the split personality bit, going, oh my God, maybe it's me. Now I'm really concerned. And then when that went in there, I'm like, okay, that's probably going to break the cycle. It's probably done, right? So I totally thought it was done. And then now this is like 2 weeks ago now. He calls back 3 times in the same episode of It's Eric Nagel. So let's listen. All about you. All about me. Oh, that's all. That's the only his only topic is me. So he's my biggest fan.
And Zia.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, every time. Hi Zia, it's so creepy. Okay, here's the last. This is like a couple weeks ago now.
Hopefully these calls are working. Let's try it now.
Hey Eric. Hi Zia.
Oh, I remember this guy.
Me.
It's like a month later now.
I'm glad we've gotten past all the fabulous Baker Boy garbage, and he's not part of the show anymore. Thank you for eliminating him. I appreciate it. I was just listening to the last episode, the Trevor Free episode. Dia, I love you, but I got a question for you. What is your favorite kind of pasta? Go ahead.
Spaghetti.
Penne.
What if she had said penne?
I don't know.
I do love penne. I thought he meant
voicemail.
What kind of
right.
And he's like, go ahead, answer. That's so weird.
Vodka. Penne vodka is fucking awesome.
How does he know that?
I don't know. I'm sure I talked about it some other time.
Oh.
I thought he meant just pasta noodle, like my favorite kind of noodle.
I love spaghetti, but I rather have what is it called? Capellini? It's angel hair pasta.
Oh, I do like angel hair.
I love angel
hair. That's a hard
pasta.
choice. I fucking just love pasta. Just give me all the pastas.
All the pastas.
Same. Everybody loves pasta.
Hey, Eric. Yeah. Hi, Dia.
Oh, it's him again.
G-Man, what's up? And Trevor, Daddy, congratulations if you're on the show. Welcome back. Eric, I'm a little perplexed. I'm a little upset. You've stopped playing my calls. You've kind of ignored the warnings I've been giving you about the Baker guy. It really is.
He's talking about. Hold on a second. He's talking about Pi Day Scott.
Yeah.
Okay, where is the Baker boy? Baker Pie.
Pie.
That is a fucking stretch, my friend. All right, we haven't taken calls in a while, so it wasn't that I was not playing your phone calls. We just haven't done calls in a while. Continue.
A problem. He's called into the Geek Stuff podcast now, and he's admitted some crazy things, and I just really think you should be aware. But anyway, we may have a Cassandra syndrome going on here, so it doesn't matter. I'm not calling about that anyway.
I don't know what a Cassandra syndrome is.
What I was calling about was, I heard you're looking for some life insurance. So yeah, I am a licensed life insurance agent. I'd love to give you a quote on a term life policy that I think you will find very, very beneficial to your family once you inevitably pass on. Every term life policy we offer comes with a free subscription to Discovery Plus, so that's a great benefit. So anyway, give me a call back. I'd love to discuss your requirements. We'll get you a great policy at a great premium, and High Day Scott can go fuck himself. Thanks, bye.
I don't know what's going on. Look, Scott.
I don't know what
Scott's a long-time friend of my friends Big Kev and Matt OG, and Scott has done stuff with Kevin's show. It's not Big Kev. What is it called now? The Geek Stuff TNG. It's what it's called now. And I've seen Scott when Matt and I were out in San Diego, doing the show there for a few years and stuff. And Scott's a really nice guy, but he's a long-term friend of theirs. So, yeah, of course he's calling into their show. This guy, I don't know what's going on because I've talked to Scott behind the scenes, and Scott's like, I don't know what any of this is either. He finds it hilarious.
I do think it's fun.
Really weird. I know. This guy has a thing for, do you know who it is? He has no idea.
So random.
Unless this is a big con that I don't know about.
It makes for entertaining calls.
It does.
Like whatever it is, it's funny, but I have no idea either. When it started happening, I was like, wait, why doesn't he like him? I was so confused, and apparently Scott also doesn't know. So I don't know where it came from. But
Scotty doesn't know.
Hilarious.
That Zia and me are taking phone calls from this other guy. I forgot the show. You know the show, Euro Trip.
Of course,
Scotty
doesn't know that Fiona.
If anyone's good at parodies,
every Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody actually makes a parody song to that, that's going to be amazing.
Weekday.
I don't think it's happening.
Scotty doesn't know. Oh, Scotty doesn't know. Whoa! Oh, we gotta play this on the leaving of this episode.
I love. You want to do that for bonus time?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, Scotty doesn't know for bonus time. Here's another call. Let's see who this is.
Hey, Eric.
Hi.
Hi, Zia.
Oh, it's him again.
Trevor.
Him again.
I just saw your tweet, Eric. You're having some technical difficulties. Might not be able to get the show on.
Hold on a second. Not technical difficulties, just talent difficulties going on.
Maybe you should take a look at who you're associating yourself with and why you're having these technical difficulties.
He's trying to
your Baker friend.
I knew it.
Might be playing a role in shutting you down.
Shutting you down?
Interacting with them, you keep being friends with them, you keep promoting them. And
I think there was some issues with Trevor.
Okay, I see.
Like I'm masterminding that behind the scenes.
You send your tweet, call in with your questions or comments. My question is, why won't you listen to the truth and stop suppressing the truth that I'm trying to tell you about Mr. Pie Guy? And my comment is, the Pie Guy is dangerous. So please be aware and be careful and stay away from him. And bye, Dia.
That's the last thing you're going to hear before your life ends, Zia. I hate to break the news to you. That'll be bye, Zia, and then you hear there's hands on your eyes, and you hear shh, and that's it. It's
not
done.
Terrifying at all.
Yeah, not terrifying at all.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's enough for the calls. We can do more next week. Thank you, everybody, who has called. Hopefully, we'll have some sort of resolution to all of this in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, so the Cassandra metaphor or syndrome complex relates to a person whose valid warnings or concerns are disbelieved by others. The term originates in Greek mythology.
So it's like the opposite of the boy who cried wolf? Like their valid warnings are ignored.
But then this also says the Cassandra disorder may be given to neurotypical partners experiencing distress as a result of their emotional needs not being recognized or met by their autistic partner.
That's interesting.
So...
But basically, what he means is the opposite of the boy who cried wolf. He's giving them a valid warning about me, and they're ignoring it. Is what he's saying.
Yeah, what is this valid warning though?
No,
I would like to say
he's saying that it's a valid warning.
Yeah, but where is the valid?
Yeah. I'm sure there are lots of very talented listeners to the It's Eric Nagel podcast. So I wonder if somebody will do the Scotty Doesn't Know parody. That would be awesome. But I don't know. So yeah, that was just a couple weeks ago, and then I'm like, he crossed the streams. He jumps over and calls Geek Stuff.
Right.
So this is like it's escalating at this point. So let's listen to the Geek Stuff call.
Hello, good afternoon. This is your friend West Coast Scott that you obviously all know. I'm just calling to announce that I don't want to be part of this show anymore.
Can you believe this guy?
Focus on my baking.
Focus on my baking.
Becoming an alpha male.
That you
possibly playing football.
No.
Anyway, please block me from all social media going forward. Don't play my calls anymore. I don't want to be part of the show.
Block me on social media.
Please,
he said.
Yeah. He says
I'll
don't play
block
my
you,
calls
but you have to
anymore,
block
but they're
me
playing this
and all
call.
that
So
stuff. Yeah. It's really me. To prove it, my wife's name is Brittany, and I love Disney World, Disneyland. Anyway,
he said,
West Coast Scott here, signing off. Don't talk to me anymore. Don't mention me.
Don't
Bye.
talk to me anymore.
We have another voicemail from
getting riled up.
Not West Coast Scott, which was the most confusing voicemail I have ever heard.
That was an interesting one.
So what we have is, I'm doing air quotes, West Coast Scott informing us that he's quitting the show, that he doesn't want to be associated with our program any longer. He's going to focus on. I don't understand what being an alpha male and baking were about. I don't know what those references are to. I don't know if that's something on his show.
I think we talked
or something
over that.
on another show, because I know Scott gets around. Even though he belongs to us, we loan him out like old movie studios when they loaned out like Joan Crawford to other studios. That's what we do with West Coast Scott. Except his own show, we don't have anything to do with loaning him to that. He owns that. But that said,
you get around.
I just want to point out that this is clearly not West Coast Scott, number one. Number two, I have deduced who this is.
I want to call him East Coast Sid for some reason.
Well, I have a better name for you, sir.
Okay.
I believe this is none other than actor Adam Driver.
Bum, bum, bum.
I think Adam Driver somehow has caught wind of West Coast Scott's show and his disdain for Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren is a punk bitch.
And has just decided to pawn Scott. That's what I think is happening. I think Adam Driver
you wouldn't hate
is
that, right?
trying to disguise himself. How could you? Such a distinctive voice.
I think when you listen to it on double speed, it sounds more like Adam Driver.
He doesn't want to be involved with us anymore, but we know that that's not
But I'm
true.
saying you wouldn't hate it.
So I'm
if it
interested
was
to hear how not West Coast Scott,
acknowledging you.
a.k.a. Adam Driver,
internet famous,
will respond to us calling him out. We're calling you out, not West Coast Scott, not Scott. We're calling you out, not Scott, a.k.a. Adam Driver. And we challenge you to call back in and explain yourself. We don't know what West Coast Scott did to you, sir. We're fans.
Nobody knows.
We're not really fans of those Star Wars movies you were in, but you were all right in them. And I've liked some of the other things that you've done. Most of them, in fact.
This is where I leave you now.
So, I don't know. I'd like to know what your beef with Scott is.
Do you think he knows we're doing episodes 7, 8, and 9 next week? Maybe a 2-parter episode on 7, 8, and 9, and he's mad about it?
He heard us talking about how we were going to eventually get to that. And so he was just like hoping to like get you to stop podcasting before you got to 7, 8, and 9. Because he doesn't want you to critique his performance.
He's playing the long game like Palpatine in episodes 1 through 9, right? He's gonna, he's going to start out over on the It's Eric Nagel podcast, work its way to Geek Stuff, and eventually call us just to stop the 7, 8, and 9 episode from airing, which
Joke's
will air
on
next
you.
week. We recorded
It's
it.
coming out.
We recorded it with our pals from Nerd Fails, so you're going to love
funny.
it.
We don't even really talk about
We barely
I'm
mentioned Kylo Ren. Really, we spend all of our time complaining about other things. That's true.
We actually barely talk about 7, 8, and 9 in general. I feel like for
It's gonna
2
be
hours.
it's gonna be a good episode. Yeah, 2 hours. I think it's gonna be a 2-parter starting next week.
I mean, really, it should be a 3-parter, just for
7, 8, 9. We'll do
shits and
one
giggles.
per. No, there's not enough content for that. Because it's only like 2 hours.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So he's calling like my home podcast now. I mean, when he calls the geek stuff, that's where that was the first podcast I
Your
ever
home
listened
podcast?
to.
I believe this is your home podcast.
But I mean,
as we're literally doing it from our home in our bed.
right, but Geek Stuff was the first podcast I ever listened to. It's certainly the first podcast I ever called into.
No, I know what you're saying.
So that's where everything. That's kind of where it all started for me. And so when he jumps from Eric Nagel to that one, and claiming to be me, so it's like not even just calling to talk shit. He's just claiming to be me.
Oh no, I like that. I like how he's like, my wife's name is Brittany. We go to Walt Disney World, Disneyland. Shit.
Dang it. Oh. Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's John Heater.
Gosh. So yeah, so that was, that was crazy because I got a text from Kev with the transcript of that call, and I'm like, oh, let me tell you the whole story, and so I kind of told him a little bit over text what's going on, and so they were laughing about it, and so then we get.
I like how they said that they loan you out though. That's gotta be a nice feeling, right? Like you're theirs and you belong to their show.
Yeah, you remember what Eric said, right? He's like, oh, we don't want to deal with Kev getting mad about us stealing his collars. Kev's
I know,
territorial.
but like they even said they loan you out.
Kev can hold a grudge. Okay.
Oh dang.
Oh yeah, there's an old sound clip from where somebody it used to actually even be in the intro where there was some toy that they had been given that was just like not good quality, and Kev was just smashing it.
Oh dang.
He's like, why is this such a piece of shit or something like that?
Dang.
Used to be in the intro. I thought it was hilarious. Okay, so then let's go to that was him calling in as me. Let's go to the next week on Geek Stuff.
Hi, this is Pi Day Scott, West Coast Scott.
Sticking with it. You know me
I
as.
called last week, and you guys ridiculed my call and made fun. I don't appreciate that. Please take my notification seriously. I do not wish to be part of the show anymore, so please remove me from all show-related conversations. I will focus on my baking, that's what I am most famous for these days. And again,
clearly he knows you so well.
Yeah.
Work on becoming an alpha male. Again, it really is me. It's not Adam Driver. Please don't make fun. Yeah. Just stop it.
So there we go. Another call from quote West Coast. We can't keep calling this guy quote West Coast Scott.
No.
I think we should start calling him West Coast Adam Driver.
I'm all right with that.
I like it.
So West Coast Adam Driver calling in again, trying to convince us that he is West Coast Scott. I don't even know where to go with this. I know what I have to do.
I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
Will you help me?
Will you help me?
I just want to know the backstory to all of this eventually.
Well, you're getting it. Listen to this episode of the podcast.
See, what
West
happened
Coast Scott was weak.
Seems that way.
I don't understand the. I mean, you give it to the guy; he's consistent. I don't know what's going on with the baking, and I don't know what's going on with the alpha male situation either. I don't get those references. I wish West Coast Adam Driver would call in and tell us what the hell he's talking about. So
I know his new name is West Coast Adam Driver, but I'm now also supporting, in my mind, he's the opposite. So now he's East Coast Scott, but West Coast Adam Driver sounds better.
That's like the evil.
You know what I mean?
You just call him W.
Yeah, he's the evil version.
Yeah, like Wario and Mario sort of situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. No, I just want to know the backstory eventually. That's all I can say with this whole.
Well, see,
that handle belongs to me.
Once Disney picks up the prequel series for the West Coast Scottiverse, then we'll find out in about 9 years.
Yes. While you were
story.
gone, Mr. Monty, the Patreons enjoyed Sandwich and I talking about having the two Scots battle at WrestleMania, and
Yes.
the third West Coast Scot run in.
My God, it's also West Coast Scott.
Kind of like
We also talked about into the Scotiverse.
Yes.
Yeah, into the Scotiverse of madness.
nice.
Somehow we've
My
tapped
own
in.
MCU
We have multiple
movie.
West
Yeah.
Coast Scots.
Multiple. Yeah, I was saying it's the
I
nexus
think,
of all
hey,
podcasts.
West
right here.
Coast Adam Driver is welcome to call in and try to explain what's going on, but only if he continues to use his Adam Driver voice,
I think
because that's some funny
Well,
shit.
it's not a voice. It's just Adam Driver. It's not a
I know.
voice. It's just it's just him.
If
I know what I have to do.
if we just bring him on as a guest to the show, like a live guest, I'm very okay with that. So
Yep.
we'll see.
We'll
how,
have him on as a live guest, but he has to wear a
put
Kylo Ren
Adam
outfit.
Driver in quotes because we don't know if it's him or
gotta
not.
do something. Gotta do something for sure.
Yeah. So
Is that the last one?
that's no. There's one more call to Geek Stuff, and then he called us.
Okay.
So that was like 2 weeks ago. This is like last week, and then the call to us.
Okay.
So we're almost done. We're getting to the home stretch here. 45 minutes of these so far. Hold on.
Well, well, well. So the truth is out. You guys are just having fun with me. You're sending transcripts of my voicemails to him.
As if you can't hear them.
So I guess as the saying goes, if you can't beat them, join them. So I'm just calling with an update on Walt Disney World in sunny Florida. We are open for business, unlike that other coast. With some news, the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser ride is getting close to opening, so we're
Is that
all
the hotel?
excited about
Yeah.
seeing that. Construction is progressing at the Tron ride. I'm sure you're all going to love to come and see that. And that's all I got right now. But Walt Disney World in Florida is open for business.
He just did a quick Google
through the
search.
West Coast.
Yeah.
And
Well, I had also just done a segment on the pass holder thing for Disneyland.
There you go.
No,
I knew he was East Coast Scott.
no, he's clearly Florida's own Adam Driver, but no, he didn't address any of the issues that we asked. We wanted to know, one of his consistent lines has been that he is
An alpha male.
talking about West Coast Scott and baking, working on his baking and being an alpha male. I want to know what West Coast Adam Driver or Florida's own Adam Driver, I want to know what he's talking about, because I have no idea. And I just can't. With every single time I hear the voice, I hear it more and more now.
I agree. It is sounding more and more like Adam Driver as I listen to it.
I don't know where I have the strength to do it.
But I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
Will you help me?
Will you help me?
I mean,
West Coast
Adam
Scott
Driver
was
is
weak.
forever just girls.
They're
to
glorious.
me.
These
Hey, kid.
voicemails have been glorious, to say the least. So,
I know
Yeah.
what I have to do. I just can't. I just hear it. I mean, I'm just like, it's what makes it entertaining. However, I'm going to put this out there. You just don't call in with some lame ass Walt Disney World is open, and then you become a correspondent on this program. Florida's own Adam Driver.
It took years of calls.
So, that's not how it works for anybody else
Yeah.
on this program.
I've made calls for a long
So
time.
it's not like people just call in just because they're on the other coast and,
To the GVM hotline, 201-730-2547.
Oh, there's a
People don't just call into that number.
Plug for the Geek Stuff
My
voicemail.
grandmother.
Yeah, that's true. Or, our actual correspondents like West Coast Scott. So, yeah. So there's that.
Do they have other
And Scott
correspondents?
doesn't even need to do that anymore because he could just tape a segment on his own hookup and just send us the segment because
That's
that's what a
true.
correspondent does.
That's what he's been doing. So there you go.
Yeah, but before we started doing our own podcast, I would just call in, but that's hard because you only get one take because it's on the voicemail and it cuts you off if you go too long, and so for better or for worse, once we started podcasting, I would just record it and then I would edit it myself and then send it to them. So the good news is I could edit it if I kind of blew it and I could start over or whatever. But then also like sometimes I send segments that are too long and they're like, oh geez, but I try to keep it short and sweet, but. I always say when I send them, like, hey, if you want to edit this down, feel free. But here's a 2-minute segment for your show.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have they've done other people have call in. They used to have a segment that was called Game Stuff, but they haven't had that in a while. And I don't know if it's just because the guy that did it doesn't want to do it anymore or what. But I haven't heard that in a while. So I'm the main correspondent. I'm the West Coast correspondent for Geek Stuff. But so that was. The most recent.
Technically, Kev is more west.
He's more west now because he's big Kev Huna. He's in Hawaii now. Yeah. So that is true. He's more west than West Coast. But I'm on the West Coast. He's not on the West Coast. He's in Hawaii. He's in the Pacific Islands. Okay. So finally, now we're at the climax of this episode because we have the call from the anonymous heckler to our voicemail. And I haven't heard it yet. I haven't read the transcripts. I don't know anything. I do not know what's coming.
Because I was the one that I saw it, and I'm like, oh, he called here now. And you're like, oh, we have his number. I'm like, no, you blocked his number.
It's a private number. So I was thinking, oh, so we can at least kind of have some way to call back or any of that. But no. So, all right. Here it is. You've been waiting almost an hour for this. Or hopefully you've been listening to this on double speed, so it's only been a half an hour. But
I'm ready.
Are we ready?
I'm ready.
You're more than ready. Okay, here we go.
Hello, Scott. Brittany.
Cool.
I think you know who this is.
I'm scared.
You've pushed me too far now that I've been forced to respond to you directly.
It almost doesn't sound like his voice.
I don't appreciate the tirade you went on in your last podcast.
He's a listener.
You know who I am. If you remember back to March of 2015 in Pala, California, I was desperate for money, and Scott, you hired me to dress up like a donkey and dance the Macarena. I think you remember me now.
Oh my God, this guy
I was traumatized by that event. I was forced to turn to a life of crime.
It's a backstory. It's an origin.
Yeah.
Years later, and after some time in prison, I went to work in the one place in California that was willing to hire ex-cons. Legoland. And then our paths crossed again. You wanted to buy some ice cream from me. There was a dispute over the price, and you got me fired. So maybe now you have an idea why I'm as angry as I am.
Is that it? That seems to be it. That's it?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right,
I didn't read the whole thing.
Okay, so I remember the Legoland issue that he's really scoured through the social media because remember when we went to Legoland?
But was that on your Twitter?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, of course it was.
Okay. No, because I remember we talked about it on the episode.
Well, I tweeted it at Legoland saying, hey guys, it says here on the thing that it's, includes tax. So here's the story. We're at Legoland. I'm buying an ice cream. It says ice cream, whatever, $3 includes tax. And then the lady, it was a lady, by the way, that was selling me the ice cream. And she says, well, $3.15 or whatever it was. And I said, well, no, it's $3 right here. Includes tax. She said, well, I don't know. That's what my machine says. And I'm like, well, one of these things is wrong, the machine or the thing. I mean, it's 15 cents. I'm not going to make a big deal about it. Of course, then I tweeted it at Legoland because I was making a big deal out of it. So apparently I got this guy fired, and that's his, or maybe he's the guy that painted the sign. I don't know. So then it led to a whole life of crime. So it is like a superhero story. I've created a supervillain.
So he said in Paula, California. So clearly that's where we got married.
Right.
And I don't remember playing the Macarena at our wedding.
Well, and he said, and he dressed up like a donkey.
Yeah.
Doing the Macarena. That's what he said. Maybe he was implying that was the bachelor party? Like a donkey show at the bachelor party? I don't know. I don't know what he's implying. But
I'm sorry, did you pay a man to dress up like a donkey and do the Macarena at your
not that I
bachelor
remember.
party?
I mean, yeah, that's...
I mean, your bachelor party also wasn't in Paula,
It was not. It was not, so...
yeah, that was interesting.
So yeah, so I think that he's a supervillain, or it's still my split personality, and I'm calling and leaving these.
So my brother said that it is you, and he was like, "Does Scott sleep through the night?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm a heavy sleeper." He goes, "I think you need to set up a camera and see if Scott sleepwalks and see if he makes sleep phone calls."
I'm sleep calling voicemails.
Yeah.
It's possible. So
the voice doesn't sound like you.
It doesn't. I mean, is it? Should I try to do a Adam Driver? Hey kid, I don't know. I'll have to watch Girls again and do my Adam Driver impression. Yeah.
Don't watch Girls.
So that's so that's the entire crazy voicemail saga up to this point. It doesn't seem like it's over.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if he'll be calling into the other shows. It's Eric Nagel or Geek Stuff.
Do you want to mention any other podcasts that you listen to that you can just randomly call into and complain about you?
I mean, can you call the NPR Daily Podcast where they do the news in the morning? I listen to that one. Marketplace, the Stock Bot Podcast, a couple of NPR podcasts. I'd love to hear you call voicemail for them. I don't think they have them. Yeah, I don't know. Is he going to make a show up on Matt and Dory's Excellent Adventure?
You don't listen to that one.
Yeah,
so.
but I mean, we talk about it, so.
Yeah, but you don't listen, so you would never hear it. It doesn't matter.
Well,
they also screen their phone calls, and they
type them up and talk about them, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. The screening's no fun. Can't do that. Yeah, this was an interesting episode for me. It was fun to recap the last 3 or 4 months of this incredible saga. We'll see where it leads. I'm interested. I want to say thanks to the It's Eric Nagel podcast and Geek Stuff TNG for letting me pull some audio from their programs and putting it on my program, our program. And
I'd also like to thank me for having to sit through all of this and listen to you talk about this for the last 4 months.
I mean, it's interesting. It started out funny and then it got kind of weird, and now I'm not quite sure where it is. It's a little scary.
Yeah.
A little concerning.
Concerning?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
Yeah, no, I was talking to my brother and sister about it, and they were like, "Are you concerned?" And I'm like, "Well, I hope it's just like a really weird podcast joke that's going on."
It's a podcast bit. It's a bit.
We talk about our family and we post pictures of our kids and stuff. So. Yeah.
I'm sure it's a bit.
Yeah.
Surely he's not going to kill me. Surely.
Great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And if he does, play this at the court date. Okay. This is Exhibit A. Actually, they have to listen to all 167 episodes of the PiCast to get a real feel for what led him to this. This is episode 167. Yeah. So long story short, if you want to call us and leave us a voicemail, what number do they call?
You can leave us voicemail at 626-66-PIDAY. You can email us, pidayfamily@gmail.com, and we're on the socials.
Yeah, nobody's bothered to send me an email saying, "Hey Scott, you suck." They call into, I wonder if there's any of those out there. Yeah, this was fun.
I hope somebody just randomly shows up on our doorstep and does a no, not like that person.
That scared me. I'm like, what?
No. They does the thing.
The little paper thing that you made in school.
And then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. You suck.
And you open it up and it says, "You suck."
Yeah.
That's more of a visual.
Okay, not
joke.
randomly on our doorstep. Okay, just never mind. Just, I don't think you suck. I think you're great. I love you. I think you're a nice guy. You're a great partner. You're a wonderful husband. You're a good father. I love you so much.
I love you too. I want to say thank you to anyone who powered through this hour-long episode. We appreciate it. I hope you listened to it on double speed. Thanks to the anonymous heckler for an hour of content for our podcast, and hours of delight listening to the other ones as well.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Until next time, this is Scott.
And this is Brittany.
And this is the PiCast with special guest West Coast Adam Driver. I don't know. Anonymous heckler. All right. Bye. So we've got a lot to talk about.
Sure.
We've got a bunch of segments like lined up, so we can like record like intros and outros and all kinds of fun stuff. But I think the main thing that's on everybody's mind is what's going on with the anonymous heckler guy. I mean, because we did that whole recap with all of the different voicemail clips. And then we were basically, there were 2 weeks of Star Wars episodes, and everybody's like, yeah, but what about the anonymous heckler guy?
Yeah,
right?
pretty much.
So he did call.
Okay.
We have one more voicemail from the anonymous heckler, and I think we should listen to that right now. You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, hello, Pie Guy. Brittany. If I'm allowed to use your name.
No.
Apparently I'm not. Even though I've gone out of my way to defend you. You're a noble woman.
He was complimenting you.
And I'm just trying to help.
He's just trying to help.
Except
But
he
Pie Guy,
constantly
it's
puts down my
obvious
husband.
we're not going to be able to resolve this in any other way. It's come to this. So there's only one way for us to solve this and squash this beef.
Squash the beef.
I will go up against you in a Tetris challenge.
A Tetris challenge.
Original Game Boy rules only.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know. Wait, he said go. I don't have a Game Boy.
Do you have Tetris of any kind?
I don't. It's genius. I can't possibly win this challenge.
And when was this call?
He's defeated me. I don't know. I think it came in like the week after the one posted.
So it came in like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And we're just listening to it, so I'm pretty sure you lost.
I lost. Wow.
How long does this go on?
He's defeated me. I don't know. I mean, I'm clearly losing in this Tetris battle right now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He got a Tetris.
I mean, maybe if it was Dr. Mario.
Yeah, but I still don't have a Game Boy, so either way, I'm out. It's like he's chosen a battle that I can't possibly win.
Right, so he wins.
So he wins. So I've been, ladies and gentlemen, I concede defeat to the anonymous heckler. He will be, I guess, the cake guy. I don't know. Actually, I think he's got I don't know. I just think that it's over. He's won.
Yeah.
To the tune of Tetris in the background.
Oh my gosh, seriously though, how long does that go on?
I mean, I don't know. How long does it take to win a head-to-head Tetris tournament with just one person? Oh, he got another Tetris.
That's really funny. He's just literally playing Tetris, and that's so funny.
I miss the Tetris tune. I don't know. I think I could have given him a challenge if I'd had a Game Boy and I was ready when he left a voicemail and said go.
Yeah. I wonder if you can get Tetris on the Switch. I think you can.
Oh, I'm sure.
I played it on my phone for a while, but then they stopped supporting the app, so it just like it wouldn't even let me play it anymore. It was kind of a letdown.
I don't know. I mean, I like old school Tetris. I mean, I remember being in an arcade back in the day and like, oh, I got another Tetris. He's kicking my ass, clearly. I mean, I'm out.
I mean, you're sitting here not playing at all, so.
Oh, that's it. All right. Well, again, I want to thank the anonymous heckler for the hours of great content and concede defeat. I think is where we'll go with that. Maybe someday there'll be a Tetris rematch, but I need a little more notice than go on a voicemail, maybe. But I appreciate the calls. So, all right, that was exciting.
Yeah.
So we can put the anonymous heckler saga to rest. That's the
that you lost.
That's the end.
Basically.
Yeah.
Sit, Eugene, sit. Good dog. Da, 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 da.